Welcome to week 4 of the 2023 NFL season in Chat Sports Talk, where I go over this week's actions, kind of give a little bit of insight, and where I'm going to pick compared to the spread and overall line. Now, you could take my advice and why not. I wouldn't advise it. Why listen to the crazy old man with his own YouTube channel? But hey, you're here to hear my soothing voice and give you my cruddy NFL advice. So without further ado, let's kind of back look at last week where I did extremely well at the 11-5. Of course, there's 3 games on there that I think no one saw coming. Definitely a huge surprise at how Arizona was able to manhandle Dallas. Houston was way too much for Jacksonville. And the Colts outdueled Baltimore with a backup QB. So we'll get to see how these games play out this week. Forewarned, we are actually going overseas this week. Starting back up the International Series. It's going to be a specialty game as well. And let's kick things off Thursday night. Going up to Lambeau Field. The Green Bay Packers play host to Detroit Lions in a key NFC North showdown between 2 and 1 teams. This is the second time in a month that Detroit's been on Thursday night. In case you don't recall, they went to Kansas City and surprised the Chiefs. The Chiefs were out 2 key players, but no one stepped up to replace them. And the Chiefs just kind of fell flat, but have since nicely rebounded from there. Detroit did suffer a little bit of a hangover loss the following week, but did bounce right back. They take on Green Bay. Jordan Love looks like to be the heir apparent perfectly for Aaron Rodgers. Looks like Green Bay has caught lightning in the bottle for a second time. And their gamble and how they handle from Favre to Rodgers to Love seems to be working out perfectly. There's issues with Green Bay right now. Now, great, they had this great comeback win against the Saints. We're down 17-0 and came back to win. Aaron Rodgers never did that. But the comparison I want to look at is how they handled Atlanta. Both teams already played Atlanta. Green Bay could not hold the Falcons at bay. The Falcons kicking a go-ahead field goal and stopped Green Bay from making any type of comeback in that fourth quarter. Detroit handled Atlanta perfectly. Stifled the Dirty Birds. I think that right there shows the 2 differences in two franchises. I think Green Bay's hit is in a great spot, but I think right now injuries are going to play a factor in that. They get injuries on the line. Receiver Watson could be coming back this week. But you have a young, hungry Detroit Lions defense is looking to make a name for themselves. They had a great draft with the safety over there that's making names for them. That's making his presence felt. Not to mention Hutchinson on the defensive line, who should have been a first-round pick or number 1 pick, but went number 2. And this is definitely a game that's going to be a must-see TV. Jared Goff has quality, has a decent season, over 800 yards passing, 5 touchdowns. He does have 2 picks though, but he's a very competent veteran quarterback. With St. Brown, one of his favorite receivers, for 275 yards, only 1 touchdown. So Jared Goff can disseminate the ball between different targets, much like Jordan Love can as well. Jordan Love can also beat you with his legs. Right now, Detroit's favored by 2. I battled back and forth between these 2. I was going to go with Green Bay just because they're at home and going back and forth, but I have a feeling this is going to be one of these series between these 2 where the road team's going to win in the opposing opponent's field. And I'm taking Detroit to win back-to-back Thursday night games, or at least there are 2 Thursday night games, and edge out the Packers. All right, let's continue this fun adventure, but this time we're going to go over to London, England. That's right. The International Series is back. The Jacksonville Jaguars will host the Atlanta Falcons. Now, this game will also have a specialty display on Disney Plus where it will be turned into Toy Story type of game, much like what they did with one of the games last year that was on Nickelodeon, and they kind of altered the game a bit. Um, sure, we'll go with that. I guess whatever to get the kids interested in football, all for it. Teams that had Jacksonville is really looking at this game, try to rebound. They got embarrassed by Houston. Atlanta's trying to rectify their ship, going to Motor City and not be able to perform. They got stifled. I think Trevor Lawrence is looking to re-dominate himself on the league, especially him and Kirk. Bijan Robinson is looking to try to reestablish and put himself back up there, making highlight reels of people breaking ankles. Right now, Jacksonville's favored by 3. I like that as well. I will also go with the Jaguars leaving London with the W, even after season. And we'll see how the rest of the season plays out. But these are definitely 2 teams that are looking to have a bright future. Then we head up to Orchard Park, New York, for the Buffalo Bills taking on the undefeated Miami Dolphins and their Madden cheat code team. The reason why I say that, they had 10 touchdowns last week. 10! Racking up 70 points against the Denver Broncos. Of course, that's the Denver Broncos. But last week, Buffalo's defense stepped up and stifled Washington, which not really that hard to do, but Washington is definitely a quality team on both sides of the ball. So this is going to be a test of the Buffalo defense, how they can curtail Tua Tagovailoa and Tyreek Hill's love affair. Are they able to minimize the damage these two can create? I mean, Tyreek Hill's only had 412 yards and 4 touchdowns. So he's good for 100 yards and a touchdown a game. Tua Tagovailoa already has over 1,000 yards passing and 8 touchdowns. It's going to be difficult for the Bills' defense to really do that, but if they can try to stifle and maybe rush to and make some errant throws, because he was being a little cute with the ball last week and getting away with a lot of stuff. Josh Allen can limit his mistakes because he's known to do that as well. This should be a really entertaining game between these two in this key AFC East showdown. This game actually went back and forth as well. I had a hard time picking who I was going to go with. And push came to shove. Buffalo's favored by 2.5. I like that. And I am unsure about this one. I really am. But because they're playing at home, I will take Buffalo. If this game's at Miami, I'll take the Dolphins all day long, especially this time of year. I would not be surprised if Miami goes up there and wins. I would not. But I think Buffalo's looking to try to assert themselves in the East. And this is one great way of doing that, knocking off a divisional foe, especially the caliber of the Miami Dolphins right now. So I will take the Bills squeaking out. Then one of the worst games this week of the NFL season. A real bar burner we're going to have over there in the Windy City as the 0-3 Chicago Bears play host to the 0-3 Denver Broncos. Which crappy team is going to get their first W? That's basically what it boils down to. And if you looked at Chicago, nothing has looked right with them right now. Look at Denver, nothing has gone right with them. I mean, Russell Wilson has had more better passing and better numbers, but that defense is atrocious. I think this is the type of game that Justin Fields needs. It needs a defense that just got obliterated. Unfortunately, that could be also a bad thing because they might look to try to hurt someone. Look and try to reestablish some dominance themselves. And with Chicago, it's hard to really kind of pinpoint, who is going to be that catalyst that really gets going. If they can get Justin Fields mobile, to stretch out the pocket, stretch out the protection a bit to kind of help weaken the defensive rush. Try to establish a run game. Use his short passing to get to his targets of, Mooney and DJ Moore to then create some more yardage. Get Kmet involved. Maybe Claypool can, widen it up with DJ Moore, extending the play a bit. There's tools there to do it. It's the OC that has not been able to tap into Fields' potential. And that's the key. The problem with Denver is Russell Wilson is stuck in his ways. Sean Payton is stuck in his ways. And can these two put a round peg in a square hole? That's the problem right there in Denver. I'm a glutton for punishment. I'm taking Chicago. Right now the line's 3.5 for Denver. The Bears got to win one sooner or later, right? Then we head over to the shores of Lake Erie, where the Cleveland Browns play host to the battered Baltimore Ravens. This seems to be a recurring theme of the Ravens every year now. It's always a platoon of players that are out. And Deshaun Watson doesn't look all that brilliant yet. Only 678 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's been making some really questionable throws. And Lamar, once again, looks like to be the focal point for his offense. And that's just not going to bode well either. Both defenses should play a huge factor in this game. I think injury is going to be the key factor in this one. Right now, Cleveland's favored by 3. It depends on which defense you believe more. I think Baltimore's defense probably a little bit better. But I think and not having Chubb for the Browns will play a key factor in this one. But they do have a nice core running backs that can, break off, the load. And with Amari Toomer being Amari Cooper. Wow, Amari Toomer. There's a name. Wrong sport, by the way. But Cooper will be the primary receiver. We'll see how Baltimore can take him away, which allowed then, Deshaun Watson to find new targets. Can Lamar Jackson, make do with what he has? So I think it's going to be a defensive showdown. Right now it's a 3-point affair. I like that. I'm also going with the Browns winning at home. We head up to Music City, where the Cincinnati Bengals have come into town. Now, Cincinnati last week held off a late charge by the Rams to win with Joe Burrow back and a heavily taped lower leg. It was like the mummy. Of course, wearing the white uniforms didn't help matters much. Getting the Halloween spirit early in Cincinnati. The Titans, I don't know. They have the talent. They just can't seem to get out of the way. Derrick Henry, our bruising running back, not generating a lot of yards. Mixon, another quality running back, not generating a lot of yards. So both running attacks are just inept right now. Quarterback-wise, I believe more in Burrow, even though he's been injured, than I do Tannehill. Definitely believe more in the Cincinnati Bengals receivers than I do the Tennessee Titans receivers. Right now, Cincinnati's favored by 2. I like that because both these teams are just meh this season. It's also early, so things could liven up, but I think anyone looks better in Chicago or New York Jets, but I will also take the Bengals to win in Nashville. Then we have to Indianapolis, where the Colts play host to the Rams. Minshew should make another start. I think Richardson should probably be back. Excuse me. So Minshew came in and did a nice heroic game for the Colts, actually winning Baltimore. And the Rams have been one of those very unique teams themselves. Matthew Stafford still putting up some decent numbers, 900 yards passing, but that does have 4 picks. But he also has unknown receivers. With Cooper Kupp out, he's been trying to utilize different receivers. The running attack's been kind of ineffective. It's the defense that the Rams have been relying on. But well-coached team, able to get the best out of the players. I mean, right now it's even, and I understand why. Richardson should spark that offense, but Aaron Donald gets a hold of him and puts it back out again. I think that could be a possibility. He won't do it on purpose. It's just he's a bruiser of a defensive lineman, one of the greatest ever, almost. But I would take the Rams escaping Indy with the W. All right, now we head down to New Orleans, where the Saints will play host to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a NFC South showdown. Now, Derek Carr may or may not be playing this game because of a shoulder injury, and it depends on which version of Baker Mayfield that we're going to get. Or we get the one that played against Philadelphia and just fell apart, or you get one that actually has been doing well the first 2 games of the season. And the Saints will probably go with Tyson Hill, which is fine. This guy can pretty much do anything in the Saints offense: running back, receiver, quarterback, you name it. He's Slash. If you don't remember Slash, old Cordell Stewart, quarterback from University of Colorado, and getting drafted by the Steelers and just used in all sorts of different ways. And with this one, it's kind of weird. I think the Saints defense is a lot better than a lot of people give them credit for. Tampa Bay's defense, it's actually no slouch either. But Baker and Evans can continue their love affair. I think this should be a great game for those two. Right now, the line has the Saints by 3. I went back and forth on this one myself. I'm going to take Baker Mayfield and the Bucs to win in New Orleans. I don't know. It's just one of those weird games. I think that could possibly happen that way. Stranger things have happened, but I'm taking the Bucs. Then we head to the city of brotherly love as the undefeated Eagles play host to the surprising 2-1 Washington Commanders. Buffalo exposed them last week. Tampa Bay exposed Philadelphia, but Philadelphia's been exposed all along because they have new coordinators. They had to retool that defense. But Sam Howell, 5 interceptions already this season, so it's going to be evident for the Philadelphia secondary to really take advantage of that one. I think Jalen Hurts would have no issues avoiding Washington. I think Chase Young could probably make his presence felt. He kind of had that breakout rookie season, but his injury has really stalled him to really reassert himself on the defensive line front. He still makes his presence felt. Right now, the line's 8. I think it'll be a little bit closer. I think Washington will make it closer just because of the divisional game, divisional rivals. I think it's going to be at least a 7-point victory, but I will also go with the Eagles. So we head down to Carolina, another battle of the winless franchises. The Carolina Panthers play host the 0-3 Minnesota Vikings. That's right, Minnesota Vikings are 0-3. Now, I think no one's not surprised that Carolina's 0-3. They are going through this rebuilding phase. Bryce Young is their quarterback of the future. Unfortunately, he's hurt, so Andy Dalton making another start. Adam Thielen is going to play against his former team as well. So maybe Dalton and Thielen continue that little love affair that they did last week. That fell short. Minnesota's looking to try to redeem themselves. They continue to have games where they just don't win. Last year, they won those games. This year, they can't win those games. Part of the issue is the running back. They let Dalvin Cook walk, and maybe Akers actually plays this week. But the Rams didn't want him. That's why they traded him away. So what makes things going to work in Minnesota? There's a lot of issues right now. But Cousins and Jefferson is a great dynamic duo. I think Dalton and Thielen could be another good duo. It really depends on which defense steps up. Right now, Minnesota's favored by 4 just because of the Kirk Cousins aspect of it. I get that. I'm taking the Panthers. I think the Panthers are going to surprise Minnesota. I think Minnesota is going to stumble this season, and it's proven quite a bit. They just can't seem to get out of their own way, it seems like. But Carolina's going to get a win sooner or later. Why not now? I know Minnesota will get one later because they got to play Chicago twice. Come on. But I think it's just too much right now. I think Carolina go find a way. Anthony Dalton looked very good against Seattle. So I think he's going to find himself having a nice game as well against the Vikings and edge them out. We head over to H-Town where the Texans play host to the Steelers. C.J. Stroud, the prize of the rookie quarterbacks. Got his first win last week against the Jacksonville Jaguars. 900 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, 0 picks. That's important. He is still, they developed this team around his talents to find ways for him to win. The Texans' defense stifled the Jacksonville Jaguars, who was a lot better offensive-wise than the Steelers. Now, Steelers did make some nice moves, and Kenny Pickett was making some plays to Pickens, and then also Najee Harris was actually running the ball. The Steelers' defense is going to be the key factor in this one. Can they stifle C.J. Stroud and have him throw an interception? Yes, I think that will happen. I think C.J. Stroud will get his first taste of adversity, and probably have thrown a pick or two. However, that Steelers offense, I don't trust either. I know something about this game really has me scratching my head. Right now, the line's in favor of the Steelers by 3. I'm thinking Houston to win back-to-back games. I think there's going to be a stretch this season where they're going to have a lot of nice wins and just fall off the wagon. But I think they got things in place in Houston to really make a run later on down the road. But right now, Pittsburgh, they're still trying to develop something on offense. It hasn't quite shown up yet, but it definitely will be interesting. But I will take the Texans to squeak out against the Steelers. Then we do SoFi Stadium where the Chargers play host to the Raiders in a classic AFC West showdown. Herbert will take on his arch nemesis. Jimmy G may not be playing. He went into concussion protocol after last week's game. So how bad was he during that game that they didn't pull him? I know for the Chargers they lost Williams for the receiving core, but Allen should be still keep going. Kelly's a nice addition in the backfield, even though he doesn't have a lot of yards. The Chargers love to pass. That's part of Kellen Winslow's, not Winslow, part of OC's game plan. He always loves to throw. He did the same thing in Dallas with Dak, and he had Zeke in the backfield. He's more of a thrower than a runner. That's what he was when he played. That Raiders defense just hasn't really clicked yet. Right now, Chargers figured about 5.5. I think it'll be closer than that. I really think it'll be more like a 3.5. But we'll also take the Chargers to win against the Raiders. And the Patriots head out to Jerrysville to take on the Dallas Cowboys. And which version of the Dallas Cowboys shows up? That's the question right now. Can they reestablish themselves after the debacle in the desert? New England has looked pretty competent in these past 3 games, even though they're 1-2. Mac Jones has steadily amassed some good numbers, almost 750 yards passing with 5 touchdowns. Pollard has looking to be the premier back in Dallas, but he only has 264 yards. Zeke comes back to Dallas, being the focal point that Patriots running attack. Can Zeke expose that Dallas D? I think he could for a few time frame, but I think Michael Parsons will find ways to make his presence felt against his former teammate and meet Mac Jones. But that secondary is going to be problematic for the Patriots. Not having Diggs back there will hamper them. But they need to plug the holes in that defense that allowed Arizona to run amok. Quinn will make sure he'll fix those issues. But Belichick will also try to maneuver him. This will be a nice, good chess match between these two. Belichick is a chess master. We'll see which McCarthy or Quinn turns out to be the better opponent. Dallas is favored by 6.5. I'll probably take New England for the points, but I will take Dallas for the win. I think it will be a close game. I think it'll be down to a last-minute field goal between these two. New England's going to play him tight. Zeke is going to expose that defense once again. It depends on how Quinn readjusts that defense to fill in that hole. And I think he'll find a way, and he'll edge out the Patriots. Over to Santa Clara, where the Cardinals head into town, take on the 49ers. Now, the Cardinals surprised the world by knocking off the Dallas Cowboys. They've also surprised the world a couple weeks ago when they blundered a 28-7 lead to the Giants and lost. So you see the good and the bad with the Cardinals. With the 49ers, you saw them struggle against the G-men, especially Brock Purdy. He had a hard time getting there. Not having Ayuk really did hamper, but they adjusted the passing attack to a short attack. Get the ball to your main guys of McCaffrey and Debo and Kittle and let them do their thing. As long as they continue to do that, I think the 49ers will be fine. Can the 49ers defense stop the Arizona running attack? That's another issue. Dobbs is shown to be a very a quality backup to Kyler Murray's absence. Everyone thought Arizona was going to be tanking and try to win that Caleb Williams sweepstakes. But I think Arizona will make this interesting early. Right now, 49ers favored by 14. I don't know. I have a feeling it's going to be like the Giants game, where it's going to be a very tight game in the first half, and then that's in the second half is when the 49ers flip the switch and then just dominate. I'll go more 10, but I'm still taking the 49ers to win. Sunday night, the Chiefs head into the MetLife, to take on the Jets and the hapless Zach Wilson will continue to have a terrible, terrible time. I think the Chiefs going to go in there, have fun. I mean, the Jets defense will hamper Patrick Mahomes, so it's not going to be a track meet for the Chiefs per se. But I think it's going to be a one-sided affair once again. The Chiefs going to leave with a brand new private jet and escape New York easily. Monday night, we're down to one Monday night game. And we stay in New York once again. And this time, the Giants will play host to the Seahawks. In this matchup, which offense do you trust more? Seattle's. Seattle's offense is going to be much better. I mean, Geno Smith, over 700 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. Walker, over 200 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns. Derek Metcalf, over 200 yards receiving and a touchdown. I mean, there's just weapons upon weapons on the Seattle offense. The defenses should be a key factor in this one. Which defense do I believe in more? I think more the Giants than I do Seahawks. And I think Daniel Jones will definitely take advantage of some key aspects, but not having Saquon Barkley back there really kind of balance with a good running attack is going to hamper the G-men this one. Right now, the line's even. I get that. However, I will give the advantage to Seattle. I think I trust them more in terms of offensive-wise. There's just too many weapons to really worry about with Seattle. Can the Seattle defense step up and at least try to come up with some semblance of the Legion of Boom? I think it's more of a Legion of Doom. I think it's more of their forte. And it's the Doom, either which version shows up. But I will take Seattle to edge out the Giants and to complete my Week 4 predictions. There's definitely a lot of quality games out there. Some terrible games out there. 2 games to find out who's going to actually win a game. That's going to be key. Some teams definitely are scratching their heads, going like, what can we do? Because they have no plan B in place. That's the Jets. The Bears are just horrible all around, and and saddens me to be a Bears fan. Miami looks like a team that's looking to just run amok. The 49ers is another quality team. The Eagles, the Chiefs still look good even though they have the loss. So you can't forget about the Bills, the Bengals. There's a lot of quality teams out there to make their case felt. So we've got to see how things kind of play out this week. I'm not expecting to go 11-5. I'm probably going to go down to like a 10-6, maybe back to a 9-7. I do expect to have a lot more losses this week, just because of a lot of these games are really close and tight, and it can just be a coin toss away from deciding who wins. But there you go. Those are my picks. Let me know which game you're looking forward to this weekend. Are you excited by a Thursday night game? That's going to be a prime showtime. But let me know down in the comments below what you're down, and hit that thumbs up, especially if cancer provider. It really pleases YouTube guys, pleases the algorithm, helps promote this video out. You also subscribe. Over 90% of you not subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything. You hit that subscribe button. Click that bell icon and turn notifications so next time I post any more content on my channel. And I'll see you next time on Chat Sports Talk.